I stumbled through the door after a grueling 14-hour flight, only to find 103 unfamiliar faces crammed into my home, a surprise engagement bash for my brother. My mother gasped, "Oh, you weren't supposed to be here until tomorrow." Then my father, stirring punch at the bowl, said matter-of-factly, "We all decided your car is his wedding present." I didn't protest. I didn't raise my voice. Instead, I shifted gears. 2 weeks later, they vanished 2 states away without a farewell. After 14 hours airborne, 3 layovers, and a seat that wouldn't budge, all I craved was a hot shower, quiet, and maybe the lasagna I'd stashed in the freezer before my trip. Instead, I pushed open my front door to find balloons, confetti, and 103 strangers in my living room, clinking champagne glasses mid-cheer, a speaker blaring pop music, my brother in a suit, and a banner above the mantel screaming, "He said yes!" The crowd barely registered my arrival. A few heads turned, puzzled. One woman muttered, "Is that the guy from the photos?" My mom reacted first, her gasp cutting through the noise, followed by a nervous chuckle. "Oh, you weren't supposed to be here until tomorrow." Then my dad, turning from the punch bowl, said casually, "We all decided your car is his wedding present." No one applauded. No one asked about my flight. No one even offered me a glass. I didn't argue. I didn't cause a scene. I didn't even ask what they meant by, "we all decided." I just dropped my suitcase by the door and nodded. Inside, something locked tight. I gave a tight smile, nodded again, and climbed the stairs. No unpacking, no shower. I sat on my bed, still in my travel-worn shoes, and opened my banking app. First move. I removed my brother from our joint insurance policy. Then I checked the car title, still in my name. I saved the form to transfer ownership, but left it blank. Downstairs, they toasted him again. I heard my mom say, "This is everything I ever wanted." The hallway mirror caught the glow of their celebration, reflecting a family reveling as if nothing had fractured. But something had, and I wasn't going to patch it up this time. Sleep didn't come that night. I lay in my own bed, in my own house, while strangers partied below. But my thoughts weren't on them. They were elsewhere, digging up moments I'd ignored for years. This wasn't the first betrayal. It was just the first they didn't bother to disguise. I recalled last Thanksgiving, when my seat was accidentally given to a neighbor they needed a favor from. "We knew you'd be fine with it," my mom had said. I remembered the time they used my account to book my sister's vacation without asking, then sent a card signed, "From the family." And most vividly, I remembered the 2 a.m. call from my dad when my brother wrecked my car and they needed a story for the insurance. I agreed. No one ever said thank you. That was the cycle. I gave. They took. I showed up. They overlooked me. I provided. They claimed. And every time I stayed silent, they took it as proof I was okay with it, that I was sturdy, expendable, unbreakable. But sitting there, with the clink of glasses below and the echo of, "Your car is his wedding present" in my head, I saw it clearly, the whole framework of their deception. I wasn't a son. I was a resource. They didn't see me, just what I could give. A bank account with a signature, a car with a title, a house big enough for their gatherings. I started documenting it, not for vengeance, for truth. A digital record of every time I'd been erased, every time they'd taken without asking, every time family meant use. When I checked their party photos, my house, my living room, my walls, I wasn't in a single one. No mention of my return, no welcome home, just hashtags like #best brother ever and #future Carters. I scrolled through older posts, birthday dinners I'd funded, weddings I'd flown to, medical bills I'd paid. My name was nowhere, as if I'd never been there, as if I were a shadow who left cash on the table and disappeared before the cameras clicked. I thought about the car, the one they called a gift. I remembered buying it, working late, eating cheap meals for months to avoid debt. I didn't buy that car for him. I bought it for me. It was the first thing I'd let myself want. But to them, if I wasn't using it, it was theirs to take. That's what broke me open. Not the party, not the strangers, not even my mom's gasp. It was realizing I wasn't real to them, not truly, just a budget line item. So I got to work, quietly, deliberately. I gathered receipts, emails, screenshots, titles, bank records. They wanted a surprise party. They were about to get a surprise exit. The next morning, I rose before dawn. No coffee, no shower. I sat on my bed, staring at the wall, mapping out my plan. They'd made their choice when they said, "We all decided. Your car is his wedding present." They didn't ask. They didn't check. They didn't consider. They decided. So did I. I logged into the insurance portal first. The car was still under my policy. I canceled it. Effective immediately. No coverage. Next, I checked the vehicle registry. The car was mine, fully, legally. No transfer had been filed. I saved the form to report unauthorized use. Downstairs, I heard the party winding down. Boxes shifted. Laughter faded. Dishes clattered into trash bags. I stayed upstairs. At 7:04 a.m., I accessed our family phone plan. 5 lines. Mine, my brother's, my parents', and Dad's spare for travel. All paid by me. I transferred ownership to them. They had 72 hours to accept, or the lines would be cut. Then I logged into the home security system I'd installed. Smart locks, cameras, thermostat, all under my account. 1 click. Access revoked, gone. I disabled their cloud backups. Shut down the Wi-Fi network I'd set up. Turned off the thermostat schedules that adjusted their home based on their routines. In 10 minutes, their house went from smart to static. I didn't warn them. I didn't leave a note. At 9:17 a.m., my brother texted, "Bro, the cameras are off. Can you fix it?" I didn't answer. At 10:04 a.m., my dad called. I declined. At 11:02 a.m., my mom texted, "The phones aren't working. Are you doing this?" I shut my phone. They thought I was being petty. They thought this was about a car. They didn't know I was just beginning. By noon, I'd contacted the bank to freeze the joint emergency fund we'd set up during Dad's surgery. I was the primary. I locked it. I called the mortgage company. The house was refinanced years ago with me as co-signer. I requested removal. With their income, they wouldn't qualify a loan. It would trigger a review. At 2:46 p.m., my dad texted, "This is immature. Let's talk." At 4:13 p.m., my brother texted, "Why are you doing this? He needs the car." I didn't respond. Instead, I filed a stolen vehicle report with the insurance company. The car was still mine legally. I sent the title, registration, and last known location. They said they'd follow up. By evening, the group text started. First, my mom. "You're overreacting." Then my brother. "You were never really one of us anyway." Then my dad. "You think you can cut us off and we'll beg? We'll survive without you?" I saved every message, screenshotted them, sorted them into folders. This wasn't about revenge. It was about drawing a line around a space they thought they owned. That night, I texted my cousin Lena. "You were right. I'm dismantling the systems." Her reply was instant. "About time." The next day, I called the tech company I co-founded. My parents' business? Their systems? I'd built it all. I requested their access be terminated. No malice, just clean, no data deleted, no sabotage, just revoked licenses, disabled certificates, and a directive to migrate to their own services. My IT manager called 2 hours later. "They're panicking." "You sure?" I was sure. At 3:22 p.m., my dad texted, "Family is all you've got." I didn't reply. Instead, I drafted a letter. Formal, notarized. I revoked all permissions, withdrew from all joint accounts, removed myself from co-signed liabilities. The final line, "I am no longer responsible for the financial, digital, property, or insurance obligations of any party listed herein." I mailed 1 copy to their house, kept the other. 2 weeks later, they moved 2 states away without a word. No text, no call, no new address. They didn't need to say it. I already knew. They didn't want me. They wanted the systems I'd built. Now they had neither. And I'd never felt lighter. It took 24 hours for the fallout to begin. I was at my desk, finalizing the transfer of my name off their utility bills, when my phone exploded. 76 missed calls, 4 voicemails, a group text labeled, "From your mother." I didn't need to read it. I knew what it said, but I looked anyway. "You've gone too far. We're hurt, but this is cruel. This isn't how family acts. Come home. Talk. We'll forgive you. Forgive me." That phrase sparked something sharp in my chest. Not anger, something precise. By day 2, they were spinning their story. My brother posted a polished photo of my car, the one I'd reclaimed legally, with a caption, "Some people don't know what sacrifice is. I gave everything for this family and got betrayed." Comments flooded in. "You deserve better. Family isn't blood. Stay strong." My aunt reposted it, tagging my mom, adding a sad emoji and devastated. They were crafting a narrative, playing victims, building their case. But behind the scenes, they were scrambling. By 4 p.m., I got an alert. Someone tried accessing the insurance portal with my old credentials. 10 minutes later, a call from the title office. "Mr. Carter, someone filed a dispute on the vehicle transfer. Are you aware?" I was. They were trying to claw back the last 2 weeks with desperation and documents. They didn't realize the digital ties were already cut. I'd rebuilt their world, and now I'd removed myself. That night, my mom left a voicemail. Long, tearful, slightly incoherent. "You don't know what you've done. You think you're safe now, that they'll love you out there. They won't. You'll always be broken. We kept you safe when no one else would. And this is how you repay us." She hung up sobbing. At midnight, my sister texted, "We're still your family, even if you hate us." Then the twist. "But you were always selfish. This is you. You deserve to be alone." There it was. They begged, then they blamed. Now they'd gone silent. Day 3, the full attack. My cousin Sarah called, voice trembling. "They had a family dinner last night," she said. "Your mom stood up like she was giving a speech, said you've lost it, said they're worried you'll hurt yourself." I laughed, not because it was funny, but because it was so calculated. "Did she mention the bricks?" I asked. "Or the years I paid for their phones, security, insurance?" Sarah went quiet, then whispered, "No. She said you changed after college, that you're unstable, that they tried everything." I thanked her for telling me, and I started a folder, labeled it defamation, filled it with screenshots, footage, bank records, every contract they'd used my name for, every voicemail. That night, a call came from an unknown number, a local pastor. "Your mother was in my office crying," he said. "She said you've cut her off, that you canceled their mortgage. Is that true?" I didn't raise my voice. I didn't justify. I said one thing. "If she can tell you the mortgage payment without checking her phone, I'll reinstate it." He paused, then said softly, "She didn't know." I thanked him, hung up, blocked the number. Day 5, the fake olive branch. A text from my dad, the first in days. "Let's fix this. We've all said things we don't mean." We. All. Not "I'm sorry," not "we were wrong," just a shuffle of blame. I didn't answer. An hour later, a package arrived. No sender. Just a small wooden box etched with my initials. Inside were my childhood photos. Some torn, some singed at the edges. A note. "This is what a real family looks like." I stared for a minute, then scanned every photo, saved them to the cloud, and tossed the box in the trash without flinching. Day 7, the public trap. It happened at the supermarket. I was at the checkout when I heard, "There he is." I turned. 3 faces, family friends, 2 neighbors, and Mrs. Carter, the one who took my seat at Christmas. She marched up, arms crossed, eyes gleaming with righteousness. "You've made your mother ill. She's lost 10 pounds crying over you." Then, "Are you proud?" I didn't speak. I pulled out my phone, played the security footage of my mom smashing my car in a rage. No words, just evidence. They watched. One gasped. I pocketed the phone and said evenly, "Pride isn't the issue. Self-respect is." I walked away, their jaws hung open, their sympathy shattered. Day 10, the collapse. Lena texted, "They're gone, moved 2 states away, didn't tell anyone, just left. No address, no notice, just vanished. They packed up in the dark and fled like thieves escaping their own mess." I didn't feel victory. I didn't feel grief. Just calm. Like a fire had burned out, leaving only clarity. Not the story they told at dinners or posted online. The clarity I lived, backed by contracts, signatures, receipts, and the scars they hoped no one would see. They left without goodbye because they couldn't face me sober. They thought vanishing would end it. New state, new house, no trace. Like ghosts dodging their own consequences. But I wasn't pursuing them. I was building my case, because their lies would eventually reach the wrong ears. It started with a message on LinkedIn from an old mentor. "Heard about the family split. You okay?" Too neutral. I asked where he heard it. "Your mom was at a board dinner. Said you cut contact after accusing them of financial abuse. Said they forgave you anyway." Forgave me. That word again? I asked if she mentioned the $12,400 patio project, the stolen car title, the windshield she smashed with a brick. He didn't reply. But I knew what came next. I opened the folder. It had everything. Footage of my mom throwing bricks at my car, screenshots of unauthorized withdrawals, emails of wedding costs charged to me, transcripts of threats, voicemail recordings, a copy of the lawsuit, damage photos. I uploaded it all to a private drive folder, created a read-only link. That afternoon, I posted publicly, "I've stayed silent out of respect, but lies have a cost and I'm done paying it. I didn't destroy bridges. I built them. When they started charging me to cross, I stopped maintaining them. If you've heard I'm the villain, here's the truth. Decide for yourself." Attached the link. No names, no drama, just facts. Within 12 hours, 6,000 views. First, silence, then a trickle. One cousin messaged, "I didn't know. I'm sorry I didn't ask your side." Another, "I believed them. I feel sick." Even my aunt, who uninvited me from the patio party, wrote, "I didn't realize how bad it was. You deserved better." I didn't respond. This wasn't about validation. It was about equilibrium. They'd tipped the scales for years with their whispers, group chats, and vague prayers for their lost son. I just added weight to my side, and it balanced. Then came the surprise. A local reporter who'd covered my tech firm's early days messaged, "We're writing about generational exploitation in families. I saw your post. Can you talk anonymously?" I asked about the angle. She said, "You built something. They took it. We see this more now." I agreed. We talked for an hour. I kept it factual. No names, just patterns, power plays, dynamics. The article published a week later. Headline, "The Invisible Provider. When Family Becomes Infrastructure." I wasn't the centerpiece, but one line stood out. "When you're raised to believe love is what you give, you don't see you've become a utility until someone cuts the cord and blames you for the blackout." That night, an email from my father. Subject, "We saw the article. No text, no signature, just an attachment. A blurry scan of a typed letter, maybe legal, maybe not." It read, "Cease public spread of defamatory statements." I forwarded it to my lawyer. He replied, "Not actionable. This isn't defamation, it's evidence." He added, "Well played." Quiet precision is rare. They didn't want truth. They wanted silence. But I wasn't silent. I was proud. Because now everyone knew who paid for the house, who was left out of Christmas, who lost their seat to a contractor, who smiled and walked away instead of shouting, and most of all, who said, "Enough." They didn't just lose me. They lost what I provided. They lost control. And for people like them, that's the worst loss of all. They appeared without warning. No text, no call, no heads up. Just 3 figures on my porch at dusk. Mom, Dad, my brother, standing like a panel ready to judge the guilty. I didn't open the door. I watched from inside, lights off. Still. Then a knock, gentle at first, then louder. Finally, my mom's voice. "We just want to talk." I stood, opened the door, didn't step aside. She looked smaller than I remembered, makeup worn, hair grayer, eyes puffy. My dad wouldn't meet my eyes. My brother scrolled his phone like it was all irrelevant. My mom exhaled, shaky, and began her script. "We've thought about it. We know we overstepped, but so did you. Maybe we can start fresh." Then the real pitch, dressed as humility. "We want you back." I asked one thing. "Why?" My dad spoke. "Because you're our son." But it felt like ownership, not love. My mom added, "You belong with us. We raised you. We were scared and proud and maybe a little blind." She waited for me to crack, for the waver, for the collapse. Instead, I said, "You're not here because you miss me. You're here because the system broke and you can't fix it without me." My brother looked up, smirked. "You're really doing this? Still?" I turned to him, voice flat. "You took the car without asking." "It wasn't yours," he shrugged. "You weren't driving it." There it was, unchanged. My mom tried again. "Please, just dinner. One night." As family, I let the silence grow heavy, final. Then I said, "You didn't lose the dinner. You lost me." She blinked, like the words didn't register. I added, calm. "I didn't leave because of money, or a car, or a party. I left because every time I showed up, you made me invisible. I was never your son. I was the bank, the IT guy, the safety net. You raised me to be reliable, then resented me for relying on myself. I'm not angry, I'm not bitter, I'm done." No one spoke, not even my brother. My mom's voice broke. "But we're trying. Doesn't that mean anything?" I shook my head. "Trying means change. You came to reset, not to grow. You want me back because life's harder without me." She cried then, real tears. My dad tried to pull her back, but before they left, I said, "This isn't punishment, it's protection, for me." And I closed the door, soft, final. No slam, no shout, just silence. Not hollow, not cold. Software, but clear.